All right, we're live. It's another episode of the Tough Step Men and Their Emotions with Annie. Um, and we are going to just have a conversation about how things are going and what's going on and where we're at. And if the humming of my computer gets annoying, I do apologize, but it's driving me nuts.
Sounds like you're flying an airplane or like a
Oh,
little
good. Well,
A drone. Sounds more like a drone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't get an airplane. I can't go anywhere. So
It's not that annoying, Mike. It's
No,
not
it's
that bad.
not.
okay.
So we have been talking to you for weeks, going through sort of the breath framework. And this is a revisiting show. This is actually a begin, because we are beginning where you are tonight and we don't know where you are. So tell us a little bit about where you are.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
I've been working on stepping into myself, right? The situation I'm in is so delicate, coming from where I come from, being an entrepreneur, businessman, trying to walk the tightrope. Now I'm learning that I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do because my intentions are right. I put in the work. I'm going to continue to put in the work. So this place that I'm in now is just like a heightened sense of self. I feel so rejuvenated. Last night I just went through like this I went through an amazing breakthrough, and I just was realizing, like, I've heard you all say it. I heard a lot of people tell me all the time. I show up every single day, and it just hit me last night. Like, it almost brought me to tears. Like, Jaris, you got to give yourself more credit. Like, man, you go over and beyond. Even on my days where I say that I'm taking off, or I'm taking a break, like this past week, I'm still putting in the work to put myself where I need to be at. So that's where I'm at.
So you had like self-actualization. You like came into yourself. I think that's like more sort of what I've heard from you more than I've heard over the past few weeks. Like you really stepped into so I'm trying to understand it seems to me like you just went through.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of through, it's a combination of stepping into yourself, it's a combination of seeing the clarity after the storm. It's a combination of all those things, right? And when you're in that space and you feel overwhelmed at every turn, which is where I've kind of been this last short period of time as well. I've been having kind of a up and down a little bit more than normal this last, I'd say, week to 10 days, maybe a little bit longer. It's been, watching you and seeing where you're at was an enormous step, right? Because when you finally get to that clearing, and I've done this many times, I don't feel like I'm fully there yet, but I feel like I'm moving there. When you get into that clearing, everything starts making sense again, right? And at one point, everything didn't make sense. So it's like everything that you learn finally sinks in, and then that clarity that comes from it. And self-actualization, self-realization, self-compassion for what you just went through, and you really appreciate your growth at that moment, right?
I also feel like something else I want to add is I felt your resistance drop. So like since I've been talking to you on this show live, I felt you wanted to be there, you were almost there, you were trying to begin, but there was so much resistance. And you were blocking yourself. Remember, we kept saying you have to get out of your own way. And you're like, I get it. I got to do it. I just don't know how to do it. I'm trying to do it. I want to get out of my... You stopped resisting these changes. When you dropped that resistance, that's when you were able to step into the beginning and really start this journey.
Yeah. And I realized a lot. Starting out one step at a time, I realized that I was putting up with and tolerating a lot of unnecessary stuff that were just distractions. Trying to hold on to different things, trying to make things right. Just a lot of stuff. I just was like, man, you don't got to do nothing. Like, I'm in a space where I realize I'm okay. I never really felt okay, even though I might put on the front and I could talk like I'm okay. now more than ever, I feel okay. I feel great. I feel like I can handle anything. I'm understanding my position more and more as far as dealing with my family, dealing with my business, and dealing with myself. We were discussing some of my employees last time. Y'all, I went on pull the plug, and I know I said I wanted to make a decision, so I just sat on it because I learned something about myself. I'm always trying to make a fast. I don't have to do that unless it calls for that. I can take my time, meditate on it, and the answer came to me. So when the answer came to me, it was just like, all right, I don't have to do any more talking. It's about action now because I've done enough talking. And I realized that all I do is just talk. And people just like, okay, is he going to be serious? He's not going to fire me because that's all he do is just run. So when I made that example, I noticed everybody else, they didn't say anything, but I just noticed everybody else was like, okay,
yeah,
this boy, he done found some gold.
So. Well, you dropped your resistance, and you all I hear is self-worth. And I haven't heard that for a long time from you. I think from all the exercises that you've done, writing to yourself as understanding little Jaris and going through those steps that we took you through and doing some of that journaling, I think really journaling helped you a ton, I think, where it got you to center and it found your worth. Because everything that you're saying to me is equating to someone who has found their worth. Doesn't mean it's not, going to continue to evolve, but somebody who understands that their value now.
Yes. Because I kind of always had a sense of it, but now I understand that my piece of the puzzle is very important as far as aligning with everybody else and as far as aligning with myself. I already can see how people are handling me different. So many people are like, man, it's just something different about you. Like, I can tell you on point, like you're game ready. And I haven't said nothing to anybody. This is my first time even having this conversation, letting anybody know I'm about to break through anything. But I can just tell people that know me are just coming up to me saying, hey, I can tell you look refreshed. You look ready to go. They even asking me, like, okay, what's next on your menu? Like, what do you have planned next? So people can feel and sense this change.
The other thing I think, Jaris, too, that's from what you're saying is that you learned the power of the pause, like both in responding versus reaction. So learning that it doesn't have to be immediate, but also you paused in your life. And you paused your life and you were like, I need to take a step back, assess the situation, understand it. That's how you processed it, and then move forward.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie to you. I was worried when you took that pause because sometimes when people pause like that, they go off the rails. But now I understand. Yeah.
Come on, Andy.
No, not where it has. That's not a slight. That's just because I'm a mama bear and I worry. But it wasn't like, oh, he's not going to be okay. It was like my heart. I was just concerned because I've seen this before and I've done it before where I fell off for a little bit. But you just snapped back, and I was really excited to kind of come and hear what happens in this breakthrough or whatever the next steps are for you. Because I think that there's so much more for you to do.
And that's what the next part of it is. I learned, like, I have to let go. I do a lot of tedious, I don't want to say unnecessary, because I feel like majority of the stuff I do prepared me to be the person I am. But I'm realizing now more than ever that I just need to spread my wings. I need to hold on to what I want to hold on to. Let go of what's no longer serving me and stretch out a little bit. And I think that's why I wasn't growing like I could see myself growing, because I was just so scared and so nervous of being the forefront or being the back front or whatever the case may be. Now I realized last night, like, you know what? I have to start doing more things on my own. I have to start doing my own shows and hosting and doing whatever, because that's when I'm really going to be able to know my own work. Because I get it's not about me. I enjoy talking and doing all this stuff, but I'm more interested in doing things for other people.
So doing things for other people is so super important when you have your sense of self, when you have your self-worth, when you're not giving from an empty cup. So what you're doing is actually the great, a perfect example of the way you want to do things, the way people need the order of things. A lot of people sometimes go to give and then they have an empty cup, but you're filling your cup. You're understanding you. You're learning who you are. You're standing in your power. You're reclaiming it. You are figuring out who you are and what makes you you. And then you're going to give to others.
Yeah. I'm not in any rush to do anything now because I took that time. That time showed me that I need to take more time because I realized I don't take time for myself. Majority of stuff I do is for other people. I'm always serving everybody else, even though I make time to meditate and I spend a lot of time alone. But I'm realizing more than ever that I have to continue to go through this process. Don't jump the gun and feel like, okay, I'm back and I'm ready to go, because I'm not yet. I still have not really understood and realized, okay, Jaris, what do you want to do? Because that's a question I've never, ever, ever in my life have asked myself. I don't care what it was. It was picking a job, going to buy a car. I always did stuff that other people say, man, you should get that car. Yeah, you know what? I do like that car. I'm going to get it. But you should apply for this job. Well, you know what? I can drive a forklift. I'll apply for that. So now it's like, okay, I got almost sort of a clean slate. It's okay. What direction do I want to go? So my main question now, okay, Jaris, what is it that you want to do? And I'm having fun getting lost even in the thought of answering that question.
So what did it feel like to sit in this? Like to sit and process and take that pause, because you really never had, and really put yourself first?
It feels great. It feels like I'm finally doing something. It's like I'm finally living. You know, I can feel my blood flowing through my system. I can just feel life in me. And I just say, wow, that's crazy that I'm so busy pouring into everybody else that I never even just took a second just to feel the blood flowing through my own system. And it just made me feel alive.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because it's very different than how you've felt over the weeks that we've worked together. I mean,
I was going through something too now.
Yeah.
Understand that I was, depressed a lot because I'm a strong person, but a lot of stuff that was going on in my personal life.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hold on. I'm still trying to be the person that my hope sometimes, and this is something I want to bring to y'all. I think hope is a great thing. I think hope is what keeps us alive. But I'm looking at myself now like, do you just put hope in the things that are hopeless? And I guess that I will never know until that time comes. But I do feel like, speaking on my employees, I was putting hope into a situation that just wasn't going anywhere. I'm hoping for the long run. I'm hoping this person would see it. But in my hope, nothing was changing.
Hope is delicate. Hope is a personal thing. Hope is, I always say if I have a sliver of hope, I can get through anything, right? The problem is, what do you put hope into, right? And I think it's a two-pronged approach, right? Because hope can be dangerous, and hope can also be the greatest thing ever. My whole life, hope was a lifeline, right? Hope was what pushed me to make it through every single thing I've gone through, right? It created times of self-inspiration that I created some of the best things I've ever created from just a sliver of hope. But then there's times where hope diminishes, and it kind of leaves you like yearning for hope again, right? And the problem is, which I know I've done at times, is when I start putting hope into something over myself, and I start losing self a little bit. And what I notice is when that happens, I get very off kilter. My circumstance starts swallowing me whole. And once that happens, it's like I've got to work through it all over again. And, my circumstance is a big circumstance. My circumstance is a very big burden to carry, and it's very shitty. And, I go months where it's amazing, right? And where I'm great. And then I just have a downswing where it kind of punches me in the face a little bit, and everything starts triggering me more than it ever did, and everything kind of kicks me in the face, and I'm just kind of in a position where, this is where I've been treading the last week to 10 days, is in this position where I feel like I've lost hope in a way. And nothing's changed. It was my perception that changed, right? Like, that's all it is, and that's all it takes with hope. When you're building within you, and you're building that internal strength and that fortitude, and you're building your worth, and you're building your value within you, that's when you get that inner peace, that personal freedom, that, that space of you're untouchable, right? Everybody has to have their own definition of hope. Everybody has to have their own definition of inner peace. Everybody has to have their own definition of personal freedom. And it's about self-awareness, right? My definition for those things is going to be different than Annie's, and Annie's is going to be different than yours, right? Hope for me is something that I can grab onto, even if it's just a small little sliver, to get through whatever I'm getting through. Maybe hope's not supposed to last a year and a half. I don't know. But, peace and personal freedom is attainable when you understand what it is for you, right? And everybody has their own understanding of that. And that's really, really those things that you need to define for yourself, and that nobody can give you an answer for, right? And I think when in relation to how you were hopeful with your employees, right? Like, after last conversation, that is beyond hopeful. You were hoping, right? I don't think you were hopeful that they were going to change, because you knew they weren't going to change. But you were hoping that it would magically fix itself.
Yeah.
And that's when I was worried you were in a dangerous place waiting for that, right? So when I look at it, we all do it. We all take side steps, step backs, we all pause, we all fumble a little bit. And sometimes we need that, right? Because that's going to bring us where we're going. And you can't just go straight up. There is no straight up. Rob, how do you regain hope in yourself? That's a worth thing. That's working on your self-worth. I mean, that's all worth. My worth weeble wobble sometimes. It has its moments of being lower than others, but I also have ultimate faith in myself, and I know I'm going to make it through this. I know I'm going to get through everything I'm going through. I know that I always will, and it doesn't mean that it has to be the way I want it. It just means I will. What I want isn't the same as how things happen.
So I agree with almost everything Mike said, but hope is, I don't believe in hopeless, really. I think there's always a way to find hope. You just have to have boundaries with it. You have to understand the difference between hope and reality. So being realistic with hope. You know what I'm saying? Have boundaries, that it's not just, you might be a dreamer, but like, come on, let's have a little reality check. But at this, but at the same time, like, I don't believe in something in like life being hopeless. There's always hope to grab onto. Always. You just have to look for it. You have to find it.
And something else that I realized was, now that I'm understanding my own value, it's forcing me to elevate. It's forcing me to cut off. Like, some people, I see the phone ringing now, I'm just like, I'm not even going to ignore you. I'm going to pick up the phone, I'm going to answer and say, hey, what's going on? And then they're going to say, hey, I'm like, look, man, I don't have time for that today. And they say, what do you mean? Look, I'm just on something else. So what does that mean? It means I'm dealing with something else. Take it how you want it for now. I don't have to babysit you. I don't have to pacify anybody. Because my whole thing was, I wanted to make sure everybody understands that, I'm a good person, that I'm trying, and that, I'm somebody you can trust. I don't have to do none of that. And when I show up as myself, I'm understanding now, people are going to perceive me how they want to perceive me. But if I'm showing up as my true, authentic self, those are the vibes that I'm putting out. So people are going to receive me on that level. Something I always did since a little kid, I don't know where I got it from. I would go out of my way to try to convince somebody that I'm all right, that this is what you should be doing. I'm like, so now that I done let all that stuff go and realize I have more time on my hands than ever. So it's like, okay, what do I do with this time now? Because I've never felt like this before.
That's reclaiming your power. You took your power back. You were constantly giving it away.
Yes.
Just like just handing it in everything you did. That's why you were exhausted. That's why you constantly felt defeated. That's why, like, no matter what you did, it wasn't enough. There was always going to be somebody that needed fixing. There was always going to be somebody that you wanted to prove yourself to. That's what a people pleaser is, an approval seeker. But all you're talking about, everything you're pointing to, is this self-worth meter has just skyrocketed for you. And it's not that you don't care what I always say this, like, I don't think you're in a place where you don't give a shit what anybody thinks. It's not that. It's a place of people can have can think what they think, and that's okay. But I know who I am. That's not going to affect my worth. See the difference?
Yes, I got you. Mike, I want to ask you this. When you were going through what I'm going through now, right? What, like, I'm feeling good, but it's like, okay, what do I hold on to make sure that I'm staying on this path? And I know there'll be times, like you said, you can fall off, and I'm cool with all of that. But I want to make sure, okay, all right, that this is it. Because there's been several times in my life where I'm like, all right, this is it, and that wasn't it.
See, that's a tricky question because that's, again, a personal answer, right? First of all, in a lot of ways, this is a very lonely journey, so you need to understand that, right? Finding yourself, embracing yourself, moving into yourself, reclaiming your power, it's a very lonely journey at times, no matter who you have around you. For me, maybe you shouldn't put it on. For me, it's... There you go. Good now. Thank you. Perfect. You know, when I go through those phases, how do I decide what I want to hold on to? So this is a very unpopular decision that I make, and it's okay. I'm okay with that, right? And this is part of me reclaiming my own power. First thing I do is decide who is there a positive interaction with in my life that helps me stay at the level that I want to be at. And anyone who does not fit that, I pretty much slowly remove them from my life. Because I'm at a point now where hey Evie, I'm at a point.
Jaris, we know you want advice and you want to hear us, but our children it's a daycare center here tonight.
I love it, y'all. I tell Mike this all the time. I got children too, so it don't bother me.
That's Jaris.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Evie.
Hello, young lady.
And who's that? Mike? Right, bye. It's a great age.
So, I mean, granted, it is one of the most unpopular things I do in my life, and I little by little weave people out of my life that don't bring value added, right? And it's not that I just close the door and throw them out. I just limit my interaction because when I'm moving into my high vibe state, which I'm on wobbly ground right this moment, and I am. I've been a little up and down this last week to 10 days because my circumstance has been strangling me completely, like in every way possible. Now, granted, I reacted better to Sid right now, so maybe that's a little bit better. I don't know. but maybe I'm just not noticing it. But I will not spend time, energy, or effort with anyone that would require me to compromise any of my values to be around them. I refuse, because all I'm doing is a disservice to myself. And it doesn't mean that they can't be in my life. It doesn't mean that they're not relevant in some way. It just means they can't play the same role that they once did. Right? Things are always evolving, and those who don't evolve with us kind of evolve away from us. And at those and it sucks and it's painful and it's not what any of us want to do ever. But if we want to stay at the highest vibe we can, if we want to make the impact that we can, if we want to lift other people up, and we want to make those inspirations to help others be self-inspired, then we've got to make those hard decisions for ourselves. And you know what? Sometimes it means our lives are a lot more boring. Sometimes it means that we have a lot more alone time, which I didn't think was possible until now. But, I also know that I'm not having 10 hours of conversations a day that just drain me for no reason. Yes, it's giving me a lot of quiet time. Yes, it's giving me a lot of time to reflect. Yes, it's not always perfectly responsibly used, because there's a lot of overanalyzing and beating myself up at times. But it also helps me see what my pain point and my triggers are to work on next, right? And this journey is not always glorious. This journey is not always great, but the moments that are great are so worth it, and they get better and better and better over time. And what I like to say is, it's not that you don't have the ups and downs, but I feel like the downs hit new lows and the highs hit new highs in a pure, more
organic way.
Huh?
Organic way.
Yeah, and more organic, and also more true to ourselves, right? Like within our core values. Like I used to chase things to go outside of my core values to bring me to that high place, right? That happy place. I don't do that anymore. I have moments where I slip. I have sometimes make decisions that I regret before I make them, but it's not necessarily the same as it ever was. We're all a different person right now, and by the time this is over, we'll be different than when this conversation started, right? Like, we don't stay stagnant. It doesn't exist. And those in our lives that try to stay stagnant and don't want to go through things and don't want to face things, and like who I used to be, I can't have around me anymore, because it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. I'd rather be alone than with the wrong people. Because if I'm with enough of the wrong people, it's going to bring me down to that level eventually. It's going to put me in situations where I'm compromising myself over time. It's going to put me in circumstances where I'm going to feel worse in the end. And it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it. But the ups and the ride is worth it. The journey is worth it. The experience is worth it. And even though this last week to 10 days has been really rough for me, I don't regret any of it. It's not perfect. I've been accountable to it, and I've learned from it every step of the way. And it's going to make me better in the long run. And it's okay. Because you know what? I'm on my way back where I want to be again. It's just steps. There isn't perfection. Just accept it. And just accept yourself. And I'm proud of you, Jaris. You're doing amazing. And you really are. And you're crushing it.
I appreciate that, and I received that, because during that breakthrough last night, it got real personal. And I just was reflecting over the experiences that I've went through, and pain and hurt and whatever. I was like, you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Those experiences shaped me and prepared me for the person I am today. And I can only imagine why I was allowed to go through certain things for what's in store for me in the future.
There's such gifts that you are given. So the trials and tribulations are such gifts for us. It's just really hard to see when you're in it. But truly, like where was I today? I was on a call with a client. And I said, I know that every single thing has happened to have me be sitting in this seat talking to you right now. And I know it with every fiber of my being. And it has not been an easy road. But it was my truth right there. Like every single thing happened the way that it was supposed to get me where I am right now. And I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, just like you are.
And it feels good to know that. It feels good to see it. Feels good to understand, because when I'm talking to people now, I don't have to sugarcoat. I don't have to cut corners. Not saying that I was doing it in a bad way, but I was doing it intentionally, trying to fix something. Now I'm realizing, look, I can only fix myself. And it feels good to not have this weight. Like, I'm waking up now refreshed. Like, I don't have to worry about, oh, is this person okay? Did this person do this? But guys, to be honest, there is only, what's up, DJ? There's only one thing that's still on my mind. Hey, checking in. I still wake up now. And I know Mike gonna look at me like, it's still this one individual that's on my brain, like, very hard. Like, I'll just be waking up first thing, and I'm like, trying to kick that. Like, why is this person on my brain? Not reaching out to him. I don't have any conversation with him. I don't want this person to be on my brain. Is that something I need to work on? Or do y'all feel like that's something that I need to just explore? Because I'm confused. It's a female, by the way, Annie.
Okay, repeat the question.
I got this female that's on my brain every single morning I wake up, and I cannot shake it.
So I need more detail here.
Kind of like, why can't I shake this? You know,
there's a reason you can't shake it.
So tell me, what is the reason why?
I don't think I'm allowed to say it on air.
No, say it. Let's say it. I mean, for real, guys, like, everything else is all the way up with me. I'm super great. But
so let me ask you a question. Why is this bad? Why is this negative?
It's negative because I'm like, I feel like the way I'm going, I'm cutting off everything. Why can't I cut this? This is not somebody that I'm reaching out to. This is not somebody that I feel like I need to be in contact with, but they're like front and center.
This is a message that you're getting. This is a loud and clear. The message is, I mean, I don't know all the details, but to me, the message is that you need to go talk to that person.
Run as fast as you can.
That's what I'm going to do.
The opposite direction. No.
Shut up. That is not true. No, you're getting a message. Liz wants to know why she's on your mind. Why? Find the why behind it.
You need to understand the why, and we both know the why. The why, there's something unresolved there that you need to either resolve, or you need to just keep moving forward. And same conversation. She's either going to chase you or she's not going to chase you.
I'm gonna keep moving forward. I don't even want to go. I just don't even feel like dealing with that. I don't even want to. You know, I thought about it one day. I said, I'm just gonna pick up the phone, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. It wasn't any other time that decision would have tore me up. Now I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to you.
Well, because you're more important and you're doing things in your life with intention. And just because she's on your mind doesn't necessarily mean she has to be on your life.
Okay, I like that.
You're doing things in life for the first time since I've met you with intention. Everything you're doing, the people, the work, all the things, you're being intentional. Before, you were just trying to fix and do and be and everything. It was so heavy. So, and also you give it some time. Remember we talked about creating that space? How long has she been on your mind every single day?
I'm embarrassed to say.
Months?
Yes.
Years?
Months, man. Years. I hate it, man. It's getting to the point I'm looking at myself like, kick this, bro. Like, come on now. Stop.
And there's something bad happened. You don't want to be with her at all. Like
it's just not. I like to say I'm in a good space in my life.
And that's negative. That's toxic. That's bad.
All the way around.
Okay. See, I don't know these details that you know, Mike.
In every way possible.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you what it is. This is a Mikeism. Ready? This is your subconscious. You being in a good place, and your subconscious is pulling you back down. That's what it is. So you need to write about it. I didn't know. I thought maybe it was a new girl. I didn't know these details. This is somebody from the past that has been.
Want a new girl right now.
Right. So I didn't know that. So this is your subconscious, which is what sneaks in your head and tells you and put you in old patterns and to make you do things that you shouldn't be doing, to keep you on the up and up. It wants to bring your ass down.
Right. It's going to bring you back to your status quo. It's going to bring you back to your norm, into your chaos. We all have ways of finding chaos again. You know, what you need to do is write about it. You even write her a letter and then just burn it. Don't send it.
Don't send it.
Don't send it. Don't send it ever.
Do us both a favor.
Yes.
Write the letter. Do not send it.
Yes.
But write it like you're going to send it. Just please don't.
Yeah. I mean, just don't hit send. You know, it's important, right? And it's cathartic to get it out of your head, because the thing is, you're going to resent it if you don't get it out, and it's going to turn into anger, and then it's going to turn into nothing good, right?
Well, it's also taking his mind off what he needs to be doing.
Right.
Taking him off track, and there's no need for that.
So you just need to get it out of your head, and you need to release it and let it go, and just keep going. And it's like I told you a while ago. If she wants to, she will catch up and chase you. She will want to work on herself to catch you. She will. And if not, then you know,
that's not about you.
Right. And that's it. You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. You can't save someone who doesn't want to do the work on themselves. And you can't be there for someone who's just going to constantly try to pull you back down. Yeah, it's not going to work.
I'm not even in that space anymore. You know, you and I had this conversation. In the past, I was like, now I'm like, I don't even want to be a part of that at all. I don't even want to be associated with any of that.
So then you just need to listen to Annie and just journal and get it out of your head.
Yeah, I think so. I know so. That's what I'm going to do.
You need to release it.
And write everything. Don't worry about, write everything that you're feeling. Even if you're like, I'm embarrassed about this, just write it. Get it out of your head.
And that's, other than that, guys, I mean, that's the only thing. I'm glad you said that, Annie. You're right, because that was something trying to pop up in my subconscious. And I had read about it and I had seen it, but I was like, no, but that's exactly what's happening. Because it's not nothing good, and that's no disrespect to her. But they just don't have any, I'm not going to say any, they don't have a lot of positive stuff with them. And I will not go down that road. Like, that road doesn't even exist to me anymore. I was battling with it for a long time, but I made the decision like, nah, screw that.
And this is where you have the battle against your subconscious, and where you say, I'm not doing it. You're not pulling me down. You can say whatever you want. That's a narrative. That's bullshit. But this is the truth. You're standing in your truth. Don't let that break your truth.
Yeah, and keep in mind, our subconscious crushes us every time it gets a chance. If it's a day because you didn't sleep enough, it's going to come up with a million ways to sabotage everything you're doing. It's going to try and trick us every chance it gets, because it's your whole life of habits and patterns, right? And you're on this journey. Even if you're on this journey for a year, 2 years, your subconscious is still going to be there. It takes time to rework and reprogram and rewire yourself, right? Like, you have to have self-compassion and understanding too for yourself, right? Like, that's why writing it out and journaling, I mean, like Annie says, it will get it out of your head. It will be released and so far gone, it won't matter.
And you will not, I promise you, you will not always think about her. Yeah. It will, you will release it, but it's not going to be on your timeline.
That's what
you have to do the work to do it.
I think I want to do it so bad that it's like, we're not going to.
That's your resisting again. That's your resisting. Allow.
Other than that, I'm still going to take it easy. No, I'm not ready to go back in full fledged. I still haven't been posting any content or anything. I've been kind of still staying to myself, but I love the space I'm in now.
That's so good. I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of y'all too.
I'm happy for you.
I get this together, so.
We did. This was like live coaching, you going through it, talking about it. It was amazing. Thank you for being such an awesome student.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you all.
You know, watching all the comments is pretty humorous.
Yes, I'm over here cracking up. Y'all don't got to worry, guys. Y'all don't have to worry about me. I done ran as fast as I could.
Run, Forrest, run.
You know, it's tough though, right? Because when you're in a space like you're in, Jaris, the first thing that I've learned to do when I'm in that space is prioritize what's really important to me and what's not anymore. Right? I need to sit down and actually look at everything that's in front of me and figure out what really matters, what's going to help me stay where I'm at and evolve, and what's going to waste time and bring me down. Right? And that's where the priority list comes into play and what really matters to me. Right? Then it's a matter of who are the people in my life and what roles are they playing and how much importance am I putting into them while either over myself or instead of myself or just trying to hide within, right? And for me, it was always running and hiding and always trying to escape and disappear and not have to have difficult conversations and never wanting to try and work through anything, whatever it took to go around it. But at some point, when you're in the space you're in right now, when we get to that space, we start wanting to go through things. We start wanting to heal through it. We want to keep evolving. We want to find ways to stay on this path and this journey. And we want to keep going deeper, right? Because this is an active process. This is an active role in our lives, in a time period, in a journey. And it's never going to end. But, you know, as things keep coming up, our processing speed gets quicker. We start working through things quicker. We start implementing changes into our lives. We start removing the lower vibes, the things that aren't as, you know.
Look what Gary just wrote.
Yeah.
That just made me laugh. You guys hear my dog barking?
In his sleep?
He's barking in his sleep.
Yeah.
It's the only time he barks.
Yeah.
He's like, woo! This place, man.
But Jaris, you're making all the right moves. You're putting all the work in. You're
We are
doing the
super
work.
proud of you.
Yeah, y'all got to worry about it. I just had to bring that up. There's something on my brain. There were opportunities where I know this. I know I'm past it. I've seen her like everywhere. Like she pops up everywhere, and I'm like, I don't even fool with it. You know. Back in the day, I might, if I seen them at the store, I would pull over. Now I turn the music up and I keep on riding.
Putting yourself first.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm all good, y'all, because I also realize that the direction I'm on, there's going to be someone that's going to understand where I'm at, and we're going to be on the same page. So I'm like, I don't even have to lower myself for anybody. Like, why the hell was I even doing that anyway? No disrespect to her, but I ain't got time for that. That's all foolishness, and I'm not a part of that at all.
Jaris, here's the thing. What I've learned is, from experience, family, friends, romantic relationships, any type of person in your life, if you have to lower yourself one drop, it is not worth having around. It's just not. Because it's waiting for your subconscious to create a reason to sabotage you with everything that's good in your life. I would rather, not that I have a choice, so let's not even pretend I do, but I'd rather stay home alone than go out and spend time putting myself in situations where I might be susceptible for my subconscious to kick me in the face. But as I've gone through this journey, all my definitions have changed. Every one of them. My definition of fun has changed. My definition of what living is, my definition of personal freedom, my definition of freedom in general, my definition of truth, my definition of self-awareness, all my definitions have changed. Because my perspective on them has changed. I'm not the same person I was, so none of those words mean the same thing that they did. I'm not in the same position I was or place that I was, so why would I put myself in the same position or places? It doesn't make sense to me. And some things don't change.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I think we discussed the topic. Jaris is good.
I'm great, y'all. Ready to write this letter, get it burned, and ready to move on.
Yeah, write it.
But two things I took away. I'm gonna write a letter, and I'm gonna figure out what's important to me, because by me figuring out my self-worth, by me, I realized like that my no that got so strong in the last week. It's like no, I don't have to even explain. You know, I was one of those people that would say no, and now I'm like, you know what? No. Work on my no, work on what's important to me, and write the letter. That's my homework.
I learned it's called an enlightened no.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you're not qualifying to anyone. You're not explaining yourself. It's just pleasantly no.
Yeah.
I'm not the best at that. I'm working on that too.
I'm working on it.
Work on it together.
Work on it together.
All right, you guys want to cut it a little early tonight?
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
Look at my eyes. Like my contact lenses are like glass.
Yeah, mine are killing me. Mine are. I feel like sandpapers in my eyes. Thank you, Annie.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Till next time.